Well, it's the end of the year, and for a lot of people, this might be a good time to think about giving a small gift to someone that's meant a lot to you this year. This origami box is a great way to wrap your presents and involves just a little bit of simple maths. Here's how it's done. To make your origami box, you're going to need a ruler, a pencil, and 2 square sheets of paper. The size doesn't matter, but it's good to have at least a 20 centimetre square so that it doesn't get too small and fiddly when you're doing the origami folds. The first thing we need to do is take the paper that we're going to use for the lid of the box and measure it. The lid needs to be slightly larger than the box so that it fits snugly over the box. To do this, we need to determine what the size of the paper is that we're going to use for the lid. So here I have 30.5 centimetres and it's a square of paper. So that is 30.5 centimetres both ways. And we need to determine what 1/8 of this length is to make sure that our box is 1/8 smaller than the lid. So to start, if you have a white side of your paper, start with the white side up. You're going to fold and unfold the diagonal corners. The next step is to do what's called a blintz fold, which is folding the edges into that centre that you've made with the creases. At this stage, it should look like this. The next fold is called a covered fold. So you're folding the edges into the centre, and you're doing this both sides. The next step is to unfold 2 sides. It doesn't matter which ones, until your paper looks like this. And you're going to fold these points here on the creases that you have made, folding into the centre. The next step is a little bit tricky. So you're folding on the diagonal here. The next step is to lift both sides to 90 degrees. And this is a tricky bit. So when you lift the edges up, the folds that you've made should naturally bring your sides into a box. So bring them up, fold the edges down, and you should start to see your box shape. So take the paper that you're wanting to use for the lid. Remember, we've made the box 1/8 smaller, so this sheet of paper should be 1/8 larger than the box. If you've got a white side, it's best to start with the white side. Now remember, we measured this and we found that it was 305 millimetres or 30.5 centimetres. We're wanting to make the first fold, we're wanting to measure 1/3. So 1/3 of that will be just over 10 centimetres. So you're making your marks there so that you know where to do those folds. Okay, wanting to do that again, so we're going to fold it this way now. Next, you're wanting to make some creases on the edges. You do this by just pinching a small crease on each of these edges. The next step is to make what's called a blintz fold. So use the creases you've made to fold the corners into the centre. Turn your page over. You want to make those creases again in the middle of the four sides. Repeat your blintz fold, folding the corners into the centre, using the creases that you made on the edges. The next step is to use the creases that you'll see just in from each of the edges. Fold those up. This will form the sides of your lid. Turn your page over and we're going to create the shape on the front of the lid. Fold the corners up just to the edges of the creases that you can see. Turn the corners back, as you can see here. And you're wanting to fold those down, and that forms the star shape on top of your lid. Fold your lid over for the last step. Turn two of the sides out and fold the creases to form those edges of your lid. And it's now ready to go onto your box. I hope you've enjoyed using a bit of maths to make your gift box, and I'm sure whoever you give it to will really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye.